Tonight we're gonna multi-stream it, but I've been wanting to pitch this to Kick staff anyways because they keep talking about wanting to build out the music category on the platform and all that stuff. And like, obviously I do music and I used to do it a lot on Twitch. Shouts out Prop, one of the OGs, Andy Torna. But I want to start doing stuff where like I spend my writing sessions like helping educate to the best of my ability. You know what I mean? Like, I am not the fucking best producer in the world or the best songwriter, but I've been doing it for a very long time. And so the least I can do is give like some sort of learning session, right? And answer questions, open forum AMA, right? You can ask me on the fly as we're writing, as we're doing stuff like, what is this? Why did you do that? What was the choice, the reason, etc. And just be able to like give you guys more context. I'd love to see this turn into like I can start like booking people to come in and do sessions live with different artists and stuff and answer questions and stuff. I think that'd be really fun. So I'm grateful you guys are here. Thank you for watching, for being here. It just means a lot. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. No, long story short, chat. We're here to write music. That's what really matters. We could do this a few ways. Okay. I can start from scratch if you want, or I have a cover series I'm doing with Echoes Nation on Kick. Shouts out my boy. And I need to finish his session. We can start there since I have to tune some of his vocals. And we can work that way. Or I've got like a song I started working on, like a trap energy that we can sort of work at as well and build out more. Whatever you guys want to do. It's up to you. The whole point of this is I want it to be like open forum. I want people who aren't necessarily well versed in music to be able to ask questions about it. I want my homies who are in music to be able to provide context if they want, right? Because like I don't know everything, but I know enough. You know what I mean? And then some of you guys know more shit than I do. Like, shouts out Proppy, Torna, Blue, that kind of shit. Nico, what's up, baby? Let's be daring this stream. Do it from scratch. I mean, I'm down if you guys are. I'm down if you guys are. I ain't mad. I've been on a big Nobu Woods kick. I'd say begin as if this is your first time opening a DAW. That's not a bad idea. Let's do that. I kind of fuck with that. Also, please let me know if there's anything weird about... Oh, see, the chat works right there. Here, I'm going to copy this chat. Hold on. I'm going to copy this bitch. Because, like, that chat works. But when we're here, it just disappears. That's crazy. So we're just going to get rid of this bitch. Hold on, chat. Just solved my own problem. In, like, a weird way. Okay. Whatever. You know I'll provide vocals any day for you. I appreciate that, Nico. Actual. I really do. Yes, no splice. You want me to use splice? Only MIDI? Okay, that's Etorna. Look, I love you, buddy, but you know that I rock as like a quick sample human. You know that, right? We can incorporate all of it, okay? We can incorporate all of it, guys. Come on. Because look, not everyone's going to go the sound design route. Let's be honest. Okay? Not everyone's going to be like, yeah, MIDI, oh, sound design. Like, not everyone's, you know what I mean? Some people like to flip samples. Gangsters don't use splice. Oh, come on. Bro, I use splice pretty regular. Not regularly, but nowadays I can make my own samples. But sometimes you just need something to hit. Look, we'll start from here, okay? This is Ableton. Ableton Live 11. Do whatever you want, brother. I know. You guys are just joshing me, dude. I get it. I've got 3 of like some of the sickest musicians in chat right now that all love to fucking only use synths and shit. So, of course I'm going to get boned. What's a MIDI? Guys, can you explain MIDI to me? Food is hold on, our dinner's here. Food is approaching. Okay. So yeah, this would be a DAW, okay? And a DAW is a digital audio workspace, okay? Very bare bones, okay? This works as like a playground. You can create sounds and use different audio. You can input, you can do all kinds of shit in here. We're going to keep it pretty simple because I'm not fitting to go crazy unless someone asks. But like, we'll start with the question of what's a MIDI. Okay, MIDI is like an electronic, I don't know how to explain it. It's like an electronic keyboard, and you can create your own sounds. You can also use plugins that can give you different types of sounds. So for example, I'm going to pull up, let's use electronic inputs in a sense. Yeah. You did this now. I need you to go crazy. I'm asking, not just like, I need you to go fucking ape shit, bro. Wait, so what's a keyboard? Like a piano. Call it a piano. A piano. So here, like for example, let me put some sound on here. We're going to use, I just need an easy one. Give me Anna. But it's sideways. Yeah, you would call that a piano roll. Why? I couldn't tell you. Blue's really going to bust my balls tonight, aren't you? That's crazy. Blue, you look like TikTok comments right now. Yo, on God, that's crazy. Imagine if we were live on TikTok right now, I'd be getting rolled by comments. Here, we'll just do something basic. I just need like a piano or something. Does this work? That's fine. That'll work. You guys can hear that? I'm rocking ASIO for all for my DGens out there, so I don't have like full control, but it comes through. eTorrent, don't be that. Ableton is interesting. I like the gray color. Yeah, Ableton 11 offered you could like change how it looks for once. So I can do, where is it? You can do like light mode, mid light, mid dark, dark, or the old Live 9, which is gross. Okay, eTorrent is being a plebe. How do you navigate the piano roll though? I'm confused. Okay. So think of like a piano, right? Lays out this way. You essentially just turn it counterclockwise from your right, like this. So when you hear it, okay, so your piano's right there. And it goes all the way down to a low, low C0. Okay. Sounds so shiny. Oh, it's so shiny. Oh. So what you can do, what's a C0? I'm not answering that question. That's crazy. It is the octave. It is the lowest octave of C. That is like you can hear as a human. God. You can essentially take this and you can place notes, right? And then you make a chord like that. And so each octave, obviously, hey man, it's your first time. Hey man, it's my first time. That's crazy. Yeah, you can essentially just create chords based on whatever you're writing. I'm learning so much. Dude, when you go back to the basics, you kind of forget some of the shit. Like, I'm trying to explain it, and I realize that I never said it out loud. I just, like, say it in my head. How do I know what notes to use? Great question. Damn, look at that beautiful man. Scotty, what are you doing? I thought you were live right now. That's crazy. That's crazy. What's up, brother? You actually do. Yeah, I feel so stupid because I start to explain stuff. I'm like, man, I never said that out loud. Okay, how do you know what notes to use? Great question. So this is some technical shit, and I'm only going to touch on this. You can literally DM eTorrent if you want because he is the resident, like, music theory nerd. Always got tabs up. Come say hello and stuff. I appreciate you, Scotty. Thank you, my friend. It means a lot. I've got you tabbed as well. So how to know what notes to use. So the question is technically subjective. As a songwriter, you get to pick what's called a key for your song, okay? And you can have a key, right, from C, D, E, F, G, A, B, whatever, or like your sharp flats, right? So it's like D sharp, whatever, C sharp, etc. Okay, you get to pick your key, but that comes down to like theory of like which key are you writing in and which notes does that require, and that's called a scale. So I think I could do it with this, unless it's turned off for some weird reason, which it is. Oh, scale. Okay, Ableton has a cool feature. Not every DAW has this, so this is exclusive to Ableton. I can use the scale function to set the scale that I want. So we'll just use like C sharp minor. Wow, letters and music together. Who would have thought of such a thing? I know. I don't know nothing about theory. I just click shit and it sounds cool. That's what I'm saying, prop. And then you talk shit about fucking splice and my ass is like, bro, I literally just find something that sounds cool and then write off of that. Because there's a lot of it that just comes down to like feeling. Like it just has to sound cool, feel cool, and as long as it's in the key, I'm happy. FL does have it also, and so does LMMS. Thank God. Okay, so there you go. Multiple DAWs have a scale function. So C sharp minor or D flat minor, whatever. As you can see now, it highlights the notes that I am allowed to use in that scale. Okay, so in the C sharp minor scale. So C, D sharp, or C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp. Okay, that's the scale in order. So now you can make a chord. Yo, Idiot Archive, what's up, baby? It's so good to see you. Piano roll, view, scale highlighting, automatic. It'll detect the key you're putting in and will show scale accordingly. That's for FL. Perfect. D flat minor, hurt my soul, and Jonny has no idea why. That's crazy. So yeah, that's how you would create your chord and your sample, right? That's how that works. So that's, you know, some sort of whatever chord. And there's probably a technical name for that chord, but I don't know it, and I'm not going to figure it out. But you can essentially build your chord structure from there. So like, for example, we're in the beats per minute or BPM of 120. Welcome back, man. Have a wonderful stream, bro. I'm going to lurk for the free knowledge. Thanks, Archive. I appreciate you. It means a lot to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything's been copacetic for you. And congrats again on all the success on TikTok. You've been fucking crushing it, brother. Actual. It's an A, C sharp added 9. There you go. Great. Okay. And then I could do like a second chord. You see what I'm saying? And then you just start building from there. Honey, food is here, but oh, you got it. Thanks, babe. Down my barbecue chicken. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Everyone say hi to mom. Say hi, mom. And then you just go from there. What I like about this is that you can essentially build chords without knowing a lot, and you can just make sure it sounds good. It's within the key. Well, we're just locked in. Yeah. So I guess we're writing a song in C sharp minor. I don't want to fall in love again. All right. So here you go. We have our chord structure. Here you guys go. I'm not using samples tonight. That's a fucking lie. I'm going to do that. Sad song. You know me, guys. I love a good sad song. That shit fucks. That's on GD. That's crazy. Why is it so sad? I'm a sad human with a happy life. Isn't that crazy? No splice. Splice band. Boo prop. Boo purist. No, I'm just kidding. Now, okay, let's talk about something while I'm at it, okay? So now you've learned what MIDI is. Congratulations. You fucking did it. You absolute mad lad. You figured it out. I'm so proud of you. You get a gold star, actual. And that's on God, for sure. You get a gold star, okay? Now we're diving into the realm of like, okay, I have my sound. Now what, okay? You can do two things. I don't mind splices. I just hate when people produce a song for Sabrina Carpenter that is literally... Yes, okay, yes, that is fair. That is 100% fair, and it became a top, like, 10 fucking Billboard hit, which is crazy to me. Absolutely fucking mental. And I found the sample, by the way. You can still find it on Splice. It's fucked. It doesn't matter. Anyways, so from there, power of Disney child stars. Yeah, you're telling me. I still fucking love her record, though. I hate to say that, but it's true. So yeah, so now we have a chord progression, right? We're like, oh, dude, this fucks. Now what do we do, okay? Well, there's, again, two things you can do. One, you can just keep writing, okay? You can just write the next part, which could be like maybe a counter melody or a secondary like key. This is keys, right? It's secondary key part, however you want to do it, okay? I'm a big advocate of mixing my shit as I write because I don't like to do it later. I'll just do it now. So like listening to this, okay? It's got a lot of mid-low end, which I will talk about in a sec. Do you like stir the toilet? I don't even know what that is, Blue, actual. So you got a lot of mid, low end. There's a bit of like a vinyl crackle in there. Oh, I mix shit. Yeah, okay, for sure. Yeah. Never mind. I was gonna make a really fucked up joke. Never mind. Anyways, so we're gonna mix this first so I can get it to sound. Oh, we're in there. Oh, Woody, we're in here. We're literally starting as if you've opened up a DAW for the first time, which is crazy. We haven't done this in a while. I'm also learning that I have forgotten shit in my life. So we're learning together. Anyways, we gonna mix this bitch, okay? I have a beautiful thing of like mixing presets from a dear friend of mine out in Europe, which has been really helpful. And I use these as the baseline and then sort of tweak them, but I will explain each plugin in the chain of mixing, okay? Gotta grab Rubby back in a bit. Prop Blue, keep Jonny in line. That's crazy slander of you, Etorna. That's crazy. Woody, what's up, Pookie Bear? I love you, man. Why is yours gray? What are you talking about? Gray like the fucking color of the UI? I don't know. It just is. Anyways, so we just got these chords, okay? I'm a big fan of using this particular preset, and I will walk you through what it's doing and why. And I might need to move chat for this, actual. We're going to move chat up a little bit. Like that. Okay, so we're looking down here. Do you see this? Okay, so this is what's called a mixing chain, because it literally is chained together from left to right. So it has its own little section, and we've got what's called a chorus, which is a type of effect. We have an EQ, or an equalizer, which is helping sort of shape the frequencies of the sound. A compressor, which is essentially taking the waveform and kind of squishing it a little so it's tight, and then you can move it up and down volume-wise. A reverb, which is another effect, which if you don't know what reverb is, you may have never listened to music in your life, which is crazy. And that's kind of where that is. And I only use this because it's a very simple starting point, and I like to use it, okay? So right off rip, without touching it, we went from sounding like this okay, to this. Do you immediately hear the difference? Who hears the difference? Raise your hand. So, but without. With. Okay, fantastic. All of you have ears. That's crazy. Good to know. So here's what's happening. Specifically, it's the EQ that's going to make the biggest difference right there. Sounds worse. Why is there no bass? Yeah, we're going to fix that. Ready? So this preset sounds clearer, but man, I have a sucker for low mids. Yep, we're going to get some dirt. Watch this. So the chorus is just adding like a certain effect. I'm just going to turn everything off. I'm going to turn it on one at a time, okay? So again, dry. Okay, just by itself as is, right? So the first thing is a chorus. It's very light. It's not going to add a lot, but it's going to give like a shimmer. Listen. Very, very light shimmer. And you can add more. Like that's feedback. We don't need that. Very light shimmer for the like, sort of like a modular sound. It literally just sounds like metallic. So that's what's make it fun. Here's where we lose all the mid end. Okay. Right here. So the EQ, like I was talking about, EQs shape the frequencies in which they are being played, right? Because like by itself, it has a lot of low end, a lot of like this lower, like 100, like 2, 3, 4, 500 right here. So when you turn it on, you lose all that. I'm not a big fan of how this sounds by itself, so I usually back it up to about where the drop off is on the low end, okay? So we're sitting around what's called 100 hertz, which is the frequency in which that note is like sitting at, or like the end of this sort of like whatever waveform. I like to have it kind of slope off right there. You get to keep some of the low end, but you're not taking all of this, like this absolute wild ass noise. You feel me? Because this is what's it causes a lot of noise, but if you bring this in, you still get to keep this, and it just sort of rolls off the rest. You can also do the same on the front end as well, if you want to see how we lost that noise. So if you, here, this is a fun one to do. In headphone, it's called headphone mode. I know, wow. Headphone mode. If you turn this on, you can sweep a frequency. So obviously a lot of our low end is coming right here. Yep, for other shit, yeah. So like all this like little high end bright artifacts, you start to pick it up around 10K. Right? So you can figure out what's happening. You can also figure that up anyways, just turning this, like not doing that and just cutting stuff out. So like right there, there's a hiss. Now there's not a hiss. Yeah, and if you go too far, you're underwater. Good call, Blue. And there's some production tricks you can do with EQing that we won't get into tonight, but you can essentially cause like a it's called a frequency, not a shift. What's the word I'm thinking of? Yeah, it sounds like this. And you just sweep, frequency sweep. Is that what it is? I don't know. It's a word. Doesn't matter. But yeah, you're essentially creating space. You're sort of only working on this stuff, so you're not taking up space from anywhere else. So like I can clean up some of this like low end right here. Hold on. Right, so there's that nasty ring. I can bring the decibel down in that area. So now it cleans it up just a little bit. And if I want to bring some of that hiss back, there we go. So now it feels kind of like tighter, cleaner, less shitty, right? And that's like basic EQing 101. It's probably about as simple as it gets. Then we add compression, which is going to bring the volume up a little bit, as you can hear. So this is with compression. This is without. Big difference, right? I'll use this view as the example because it's easier. So this is the peak of the note hitting. This is the threshold in which it's like keeping it underneath a certain threshold, which is around -22. And then this is the out. So you can usually push it a little bit. I'd advise not to do the sweeping since you're just adding gain and it would amplify any resonance. Just kind of aim for highs, mids, or lows. Yep. For basic EQing, that's a good point. For basic EQing, it's not really going to matter about sweeping frequencies until much later. But like for general shit, like you have control over what is let in and out of your sounds. You know what I mean? Unless you're recording with a microphone. Also true. Yeah. Great. That's a great point to make, Blue, actual. So yeah, now we have this like cleaner, louder sort of energy. And then we get into the last part, which is the reverb. And this is very light. And it's just adding a little nice sort of like room, verb, nothing crazy. But now we have this really, really like ethereal pad, right? Kind of sick, right? So that's like basic. This is a basic mix preset that I have from a friend, but this is essentially what you can do. And your EQ and your compression are always going to be the first and most important things that you need to do when mixing. People argue you should compress before you EQ, and then people argue if you should EQ before compression. It really doesn't fucking matter. It's based on what sounds good for your project. And that's just facts, okay? It needs to sound good based on your project and the needs of that project. Don't worry about semantics. It's just not worth it. So, cool. Any questions, chat? Also, shouts out Kick, bro. There's way more people in here than I thought there'd be tonight. It's sick as hell. EQ before comp personally, but comp will affect your highs and lows depending on your attack and release. That's very true. That's very true. Yeah, I'm also an advocate of EQing before compression, and then you can EQ again if you get any weird artifacts after the fact. I mean, my vocal chain alone has 2 EQs and 2 compressors. So yeah, long release means more low end. Yes. Very nice. But yeah, that's basic. This is basic shit. Yeah, long releases for lows, short releases for highs. So now I have this cool ethereal thing. Now what do we want to do? For the songwriting portion of this, there's a few things you can do. What I am going to do for the sakes is I'm just going to duplicate this track. Hi, I only EQ master. Yo, Ion, what's up, baby? It's good to see you. How are you? For the sake of this tutorial or whatever you want to call it, I'm just going to duplicate this track and we're going to find a new sound to sort of layer underneath the first one, okay? So we have this bellish piano. I'm going to go for a synth instead, or maybe a pad. There we go. Let's see. Oh, actually, here's a quick tip. If it just feels good right off rip, just use it and see what happens. Sounds great. We could also, if we really wanted to, is pump it up and then mix it so it's a little underwater. Bring the volume down. So now you have like a little extra high end. You're starting to push that like mid-high. Do you EQ your guitar DI before amp sim? No. And we can touch on that later too. And when you and I talk, Hunter, I will explain that more deeply. But I personally will not EQ the guitar prior to it getting. Yo, DJ Guns, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. I won't EQ the guitar DI before this, like the simulator for the amp, because 9 times out of 10, the amp sim has a built-in EQ that you can use. But also, like, I like to just take the tone as dry as it is through the sim and then EQ everything after the fact. Big question. When sweeping, if you don't know what's messy, how do you identify that? I get a lot of advice, but all revolve around knowing what frequency sucks. I overthink it like crazy. Okay, this actually ties into what we were talking about not worrying about as a beginner, but this is a good question for you. Okay, EQ, if you don't, you have to, first, you have to train your ear for sure. That's the correct answer. But the easiest way to figure it out, if you're still training your ear, which also helped me kind of train my ear because I work on enough projects, is like the frequency sweeping thing for me. Like here, if we just like turn this off, for example, and we just listen to it without the EQ, right? We can like turn all these off. Here, let's do this. I'll turn these off. So we just have the slopes. So like we're just working with these slopes, but say like this is over here and this is over here. And I have this one turned on and it's flat, okay? They have a monitoring mode. If I need to figure out what sounds like shit, I could do this. And you can hear, like when you sweep, you're putting it all the way at the highest decibel possible, which is like 15. And I'm sweeping. And you start to hear the frequencies as you go down. So like here, that's really resonant, and that could probably cause ear, or this one, there it is. You can keep going. And you can hear sort of that, like, it's like if someone was like screaming at you after this sounds really bad, after a bomb went off and you can't really hear and it just sounds really underwater and shitty. That's how you figure out what's up. Hey, how are you? Been here for a minute. Didn't want to interrupt you. Great to see more talented people in this category. And thank you for the breaking wind follow sound. Yeah, I got you for sure. I appreciate you again for the follow. It means a lot. Do you also produce as well, DJ Guns? I'm really trying to get this category up and running. I feel like there's such talented people that aren't really getting the, you know what I mean? The visual on Kick. So I've been wanting to get on here and do a stream like this. So yeah, like that one's really fucked. So if you hear that archive, you can just essentially take and you can pull it down. Yeah, training can help. Yeah, training can help identify which peaks to remove. And then usually you just start to learn over time, like which ones sound like shit. Yeah, Sound Gym is great. Soothe is a plugin that essentially just does it for you. But Sound Gym is good. And then also like I just take shit and just like will sit and try and EQ. Like guitars are really fucking shitty to EQ. So like I'll sit there and just like I'll have a basic, I use 2 EQs. I have a basic EQ that just shapes the waveform, right? Yeah. Go EQ distorted guitars. Just do that a bunch and you'll figure it out. I have a basic one that just shapes the waveform of the guitar, right? And then EQ and some other shit, or I'm sorry, compression and some other shit. Then I have a second EQ at the end of it to pick out all of the frequencies that sound like trash, including artifacts or weird distort, like whatever. And I will sit there and it'll look like I surgically am removing things with like these little like nipples. You know what I mean? Like all the time. Golf floss is a good one too. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. But yeah, train your ear and just EQ a ton of shit and you'll start to like figure it out over time. I use FL though, but always nice to see other DAWs. Oh, I love that. Yeah, FL's great. I started on Logic when I first started writing like years and years ago, but I ended up landing on Ableton and I pretty much swear by it up to this point. Ion, you asked me, what do you think about botonic music? I found out about a few days ago. First, it sounds like chaos of music. Now it sounds like seance and sound beautiful. I don't even know what botanic music sounds like. You'd have to DM me, to be honest. Yeah, join the Discord, please. Me too. Logic, I miss. Logic's great. I'm gonna text you some off-stream idea stuff. No rush to see it. Just thinking of a good idea. Fuck yeah, Slim. I love you. Preach. How to do exactly? Oh, Slim, that's a great idea. I actually think I might just pull this VOD and just upload it dry. Because why not? Okay, so now we've got these two fantastic sounding things layered on top of each other. Got this sort of like 80s synthwave vibe going on. It's kind of sick, right? So now we're like, okay, we've got like this basic idea. What do we do now? Well, we need a bass, right? We need some sort of low end. We're going to need like a melody or a lead. So like a higher end type-esque thing. And we need drums. Those are like bare bones what we're going to need, right? So let's do bass because that one's fun. Euro rack hooked up to vegetables, taking in the current, sending it to a VC. I've heard isn't there a guy on TikTok that does that where he plugs it into like a thing and then like records yeah, it was so sick. He did like a lemon and it sounded fucking crazy. I was like, this is so cool. That's a whole other side of music that I love is just like sampling sounds. So like not like getting a sample from someone, like going outside and just like recording random shit with like a high gain microphone and just like seeing what you can find. I mean, a great example is like Charlie Puth does this a lot because like he's that kind of bitch and I love him for it. He will essentially, he took nothing. He was on, what was it, Jimmy Fallon? He did a beat live on Jimmy Fallon where he took literally nothing. Like he just recorded air out of a microphone and then frequency pitched it. Like he took the cue and found like a note and then like sampled that and then built every instrument off of that note. I was like, that's crazy. I was like, that's the shit that makes music really fun. Can you only hooch it up to vegetables or body parts as well? You can probably put it on anything. You know what I mean? Not a bad idea either, but focused content is also a good idea. This is more of a watch the process, and focus would be more like, I don't know how to do this thing. Show me. Well, Slim, I might have a friend. We could just cut up things from this stream. You know what I mean? And we could do short form, focused, long form, sit here and watch me for 2 hours type shit. It was a teacup, wasn't it? Yeah. He tapped a teacup and then he recorded air and that was it. Like he did the teacup for this, like for the piano or synth. Yeah, it was crazy. My mate, who's an insane Swedish producer, challenged each other to make a track only using white noise. That's kind of sick, actually. I'm not even going to fuck with you. That's cool. All right, we need a bass. I've got a couple in the archive. Let's see. That's fine. I think that's the money. Short focused and long form. Watch the show. Yeah. How goes it in here? Hi, honey. What's up, babe? It goes great. I think that's the money. Yeah, I read that. You can go so crazy at some points. You really can. Like when you really start to like dive Bitwig, by the way. Oh, dude, Bitwig is crazy. Oh my gosh. Some of the sound design shit you can get into is such a mind-boggling thing. Like everything around you can be used in music. Any sound, any noise, doesn't matter. Like you can find a space for it and you can just mold shit into what you want it to. It's wild. Okay, anyways, so we're in C sharp minor. I'm gonna pull up the MIDI. This is already set as we discussed earlier. Also, if the chat's in the way, let me know. I can always just like move you guys. I like having the chat up though. It's really nice. So we could just for example, you can just copy like your bottom notes. So C, A, B, A. I could do that, right? And just go like this. We can go C, where is it? C, A, B, A, right? Right, but I don't really want to do that. We can sort of fuck around and figure it out. So like I could probably go E instead on that last note, which would be more fun. Right? Sounds cool. I've returned full of food and angst. I love that. So obviously this bass sounds like shit. Clearly. But for the sake of sakes, we're just going to write the part first. I'll turn it down a little bit. But Ableton is better for a person that doesn't know chords and scales, I think. I think Ableton has the easiest, like, user interface, like barrier of entry user interface, if that makes sense. Because, like, FL, I'll be honest, first time I touched FL, I was incredibly confused until I sat and, like, figured it out, right? And then Logic is, like, also user-friendly, but also slightly confusing, which is fine. And then Pro Tools is Pro Tools. I don't know, man. Watching an FL user try to figure out Ableton is hilarious. Yeah, vice versa. But yeah, I think Ableton is just better for like actual beginner type like sound and shit. Studio One was super intuitive. I never got to use it, but I heard it was cool. I think FL's the easiest one. Yeah, I mean, everyone starts somewhere, right? And like, yeah, FL is its own thing. Ableton sets you up for a better DAW down the line. Yeah, I think Ableton gives you like the first real look at like what can be done. Yeah, Cubase is the same way. Because like going from Ableton to Pro Tools was very easy for me. That made sense, right? Like it was very simple. FL definitely is its own little world, which is fine. FL is great if you haven't tried anything else first. Yeah, FL is great for first time. I hated FL for years. I submitted to it once my MacBook Pro motherboard died. Now I got to used to it and I like it. Yeah. I think it's just use case, right? And you just use shit enough and you're good to go. You know, that's all you could ask for. I don't like the A, so we can move that. So let's think. We can go D sharp. That's cooler. I'm just too used to FL at this point. Yeah, I think after a while you just kind of lock in, you know, and that's okay. Or you can just be like me and use a knockoff FL Studio. LMMS is cool for it being free. I will say that. If Porter could do it, why can't I? That's right. That's the mindset right there. Okay, we'll just use this as the basic, right? So same thing. I'm gonna use the mixing chain that I already have, but I'll tweak it and explain some stuff obviously as we go. And this one I built, so this is a me thing. Did you see Ableton 12.1 new stuff? It kind of insane. Ableton 12 looks sick. I just have not gotten the cash to spend to get it. So eventually I will. Okay, I'm going to take these away because we don't need these and they're irrelevant to this specific stream. Strumming all generators. Yeah, just make the cool sounds and your listeners won't give a flying fart what software you use. Dude, that's true. The other thing is like remembering that it doesn't matter what you use or how you wrote it. Consumers don't care. Consumers will never care how you wrote the song, what sound design was it a part of, did you sample flip or not. Like, no one cares what microphone you recorded the vocals in. Like, literally no one gives a shit. As long as it sounds fucking cool and it doesn't sound like shit, everyone's like, fuck yeah, brother. So, yeah. Anyways, let's go over this one. So, this is my bass chain. I removed some stuff because I keep forgetting to fix it. But, so, bass by itself. Okay. So we're going to turn on, let me turn everything off first. We're going to turn on the EQ first. So this particular one I use for like sub basses, and this particular preset of bass that I'm using is the one I like to use. And so when you do that, I'm cutting out a ton of high end and only taking like the sub of it. Does that make sense? What is high end? High end is the frequencies on the, I don't even know, I'll call it the like fucking frequency scale, in which they are all the way above like 10K, between like 5 and 10K. So like if you look at a waveform, again, I'll go back to this as the example. If you look at a waveform, you can see that in these particular areas, the frequency is more prominent, correct? So like your high end is usually around this general region. Your mid to high is here. Your mid is here. Your mid to low, and then your low, give or take, okay? So with a bass, there's never a lot of high end anyways, but you do get some of this like mid high into mid into low. And so for a sub bass, it all goes away. And you just want sort of that like literal sub sound as part of it. This bass, I like to keep sort of this right at the edge, making this really easy to understand. Hell yeah. Good, I'm glad I can like put it to use case for people. So like the goal is to get sort of that sub. Do you hear that in your headphones or whatever? So you want that. Yeah, wait, so is that most left thingy is the sub? Yeah, this is the sub frequency or subsonic or whatever the fuck the word is, frequency in which we're using. It's technically this one, but this is adding the extra low end. Check DMs, this is so cool. Okay, hold on. Off stream chat, hold please. Oh, congrats, eTorna, that's fucking huge. I love that for you, actual. Okay. So that's like a fundamental. Is that a trick question? If we talk deeper into frequencies, it could take all night. Okay, so different. We were talking about frequencies, right? So like we got high end, mid high, mid low, and low. Okay. So a sub frequency, like if you're in a car and the sub rattles the car, that's this frequency, okay? Now, if I were to take, see, so now we're in like that first, it's the bass, yeah. And then you move it, right? So now we're in this like mid-low, which is a little more like grainy. You get a little more like definition in the note, right? And then you move it again. Now we're in the mids. And now it's just like you have zero low end. You're getting all of that grit, all that whatever in the middle artifact. And if I like use this, it's kind of where the sort of the pluck, like if you listen to someone pick a bass, a lot of that's going to be in this area, right? And then you move it again. Mid highs. This is just a straight up like the thunk of a bass. There's no low end, no mid, nothing. And then there's not really any high end, but there's a very tiny click. But yeah. So yeah, we want to be down in the sub frequencies. Now, rule of thumb too, and this is something I learned from a dear friend of mine, you do not want your lowest curve to be lower than like 32 hertz, give or take, okay? That is the lowest frequency that the human ear can process, is about 32 hertz. And that's if you have like almost perfect ears. Other than that, this is all just mud and it just fucks up your mix. And that's just honesty, okay? So we want this frequency where we have like this sub, and when you add it in here, it starts to fill in that space, right? Because now we're looking at these, and we're sitting over here, and then this curve is really just chilling far away from that. So now we have all this space filled, we have this space filled. And so when you think about like frequencies and mixing, the best way it was described to me is like it's like a cone, right? It's like a cone, and you're looking inside the cone, and each frequency is a section of the cone if you were to cut it into like sixths or whatever, okay? So you have like your really low sub low end, then you have like your mid low, your mid high, and your high. And so when you mix your songs, you want to make sure that all those frequencies are covered, but they're not fighting with something else as well. And some things, you know, share space, right? That's okay. But like you want to make it as defined as possible so that everything has a place in the mix. That is the best way I was ever described it. Such a nice, subtle instrument. Love those sad vibes. Me too. We're about to do something crazy with this though, because I've got something in my mind that I want to do. So yeah, we've got this. Fantastic. I love this. We're going to copy this one again. Delete this MIDI. Okay. And we're going to write a lead. And so we need a lead sound. So we're kind of in like this like 80s shit or whatever. Let's go for like, let's see. That'd be kind of cool. Fuck it, let's just use that. Why not? Okay, so same thing. We've got the scale, right? We know what we're working in. I want to be in between this octave, okay? And we can be as weird or as simple as we want. Doesn't really matter. So we're going to go... something like that. Do you read notes or play by ear? Are you talking about like sheet music? I can like kind of read sheet music, kind of. I originally learned how to do music by ear when I was younger. And then I like reverse learned everything. We need to move this. One, two, three, da da. Na 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 na. Yeah, yep, that's exactly what I want. So this would, okay, and just so people understand, this would be considered a counter melody, or no, I guess it'd just be main melody. Counter melody would counter whatever we're doing here. That would make more sense to say. But that's okay. So yeah, we have all together. And then we'll change that for the variation on the end. Okay, so now we've got that. We've got this nice little arrangement, okay? Now, next would be drums, and this is where, again, there's two ways you can do this, and I don't really care how you do it. Some people will judge you, some people won't, whatever makes sense. You can use a drum loop to get the idea across and then build the drums after, or you can spend all the time and just build the drums that you want. Either one is fine. Really does not matter. For this particular instance, I think I have a drum loop that would make sense, but let me see if I can find it. Also, Twitch ad break in a minute. Sorry, not sorry. I can't help it. Let me see if I can find it. Also, shouts out Decap. Makes some of the most authentic fucking like drum samples ever. They're so sick. No. Similar to that one, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right, chat, don't get mad at me. It doesn't matter. I don't fucking care. I need... Let's see, this one. So we're going to go for like I'm bringing sexy back, yeah, type beat. Yeah. I'm bringing sexy back. What is my favorite genre to create? So I specialize in like pop, hip hop, and R&B. That's like what I like to write and am pretty good at. I dabble in house music because I think it's fun as fuck. And then I grew up and wrote rock and hardcore music. Yeah, dude, Brandon, we're doing music production. I'm trying to build out the section on Kick, and then also I used to do it a lot on Twitch a couple years ago. Also, good to see you, brother. Thank you again for the help with Meld. We're currently using it, and it feels fantastic. Very small nuances that I think you guys will fix later anyway, so I don't even care to admit it. Dude, it was very easy to set this up, by the way, so GG's on that. Rock is what I like grew up writing and touring in, and then like I got deeper into like pop, hip hop, R&B. That's like really what I like to write. And then I'm a sucker for house music, and if I could be a house DJ, I would. But I don't have the balls for it, so it's fine. Let's use, I think that's the one I think would make sense. Hey, glad to hear it. I love that. Yeah, they're cool, man. Shout out to your CEO for like hitting the line. That was really something special. Nope. Okay, I need this to be warped. One. Put it at 115. This is the only thing about Ableton I fucking hate. Eternal, I don't want to hear it. It's just so I could hear if this makes sense. I had a thought in my head. Yes, no. Sounds like Splice to me. I want you all to eat my ass. Eat my ass, guys. It's for education. Okay, I just want to see if this makes sense. That's all. Easy pass on the ass. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, hold on. It's 2024. Everyone is eating ass out here. That's what I'm saying. Okay, for the sake of what we're writing, this is fine. I do not care what any of you say that I use Splice. Get off my actual face. That's crazy. Okay. Same thing. I will put the preset shit on here, but then I will explain what it does and why. And this one's very basic because this is like pre-mixed. What? This is your first time in DAW. Dude, first time in DAW, I'm pulling Splice samples. I would be, as a 14-year-old rap SoundCloud kid on Ableton, I'd be Googling rap samples, and Splice would be the first thing on SEO and Google. Looper, man. Oh, not more Band-Aid effect racks. Yo, relax, okay? Every one of your favorite producers has an effect rack pre-built, okay? And then they just tweak it from there. I don't want to hear any slander about fucking mix chains. None. Not me, and I'm one of my favorites. Yeah, but that's a bias, brother. That's crazy. What's a rack? We already explained that. You were here for it. This one. Favorites are biases. That's crazy. Etona, that's crazy. Okay. Anyways, moving on. I forgot. Moving on. This particular is a Slate Digital virtual mix rack. These are fantastic. It's well worth the money. Please buy it. This is essentially an EQ and a compressor. That's it. It's just in rack form. Okay. In order. So this is a basic EQ for a drum bus. A drum bus is essentially, here, I'll give you an example. If I were to take all of these instruments that we just built, right, and I group them together, and we'll name it instruments, okay? So see down here, if I click on this particular instrument or like this particular track, it has its chain of shit right here, right? So we've got the plugin, and then we've got the mixing chain or the mixing preset, okay? If I click this disappears, and it says I can drop audio effects here. This particular group has its own channel to mix in, aka a bus, a mix bus. There's 100 terms. This would be your drum bus, quote unquote. So because we're just using that sample for the sake of what we're doing, this track is its own drum bus. So this particular mix rack is a drum mix rack. So if I turn it off, the drums sound as such. And they already sound pretty tight. You know what I mean? It's not bad. This is just going to tighten it up. Ready? 3, 4. You get a little extra high end in there. You can hear the thud of the kick a little bit better, okay? And then when you add it into everything, I literally understand zero of music theory. Honestly, same, okay? I watched a video from Andrew Wong on music theory in 30 minutes, and that was 5 years after I had started writing music, okay? As far as I'm concerned, it's anyone's fucking game, okay? It's anyone's fucking game. So for example, let's talk about these instrumentations as well. If I really wanted to, and I wouldn't recommend this, but you could put a mix bus on this channel so that all the instrumentations are mixed together at the same time. Again, would not recommend this, but you can do this if you want. So just for like a hard fucking example, you could essentially do where the fuck is it? No. This one. You can just do like the fat one or whatever the fuck. This is a preset. So this has, this is like a mix bus, like volume. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it helps with like volume control. I can't remember exactly what it's called. EQ. This is like an air. It adds like some high end. This is a flat out, oh my God, a driver. And then this is a full on like volume, like clipper essentially. So like I'm not even gonna touch it. Turn it off. Here's the instruments by themselves. Jonny, give yourself more credit. You theory my ass every time you write. That's not true. That's a lie. Oh, you can't see the mix rack? Oh, kill myself, dude. That's crazy. Here, I'll do this. Hold on. There. And then, haha, you can see the rack. Okay. Here we go. All the things I said in that order, whatever. I literally can't remember. It says virtual mix bus. It helps with like the way that the frequency or like the way that the volume like is clipping. It just like helps with like reduction of noise. EQ is like an higher end, like it adds like whatever, adds like some shimmer to it, I guess. This is a flat out drive, like a saturator, and then this is a clipper. That's pretty much what that is. And a clipper, I can like turn the volume like super high or super low, and it'll clip it off the top, like right off the top. So without it, it sounds like this. And this is just the instruments by themselves, right? Dry. Okay. And then on. Very subtle. But you now hear like a little bit more of that lower end of like the bass, a little extra shimmer. I could even turn the bass down a little bit. Okay, does that make sense? Everything makes sense so far? A lot of this stuff is, again, we could have deeper conversations about like this whole thing outright, but we don't have to do that. I probably won't even use this, to be honest. I just want to use it as the example. But yeah, so I mean like, okay, now that we've gotten to this point, we essentially have like a song, okay? Congratulations. You built a section of a song. Chat, be really proud of yourselves. We fucking got here. We did it together, okay? So this is essentially 101, like how to layer a song, okay? There's many other things we can do to this, which is fine. But again, bare bones example, you just open the DAW up. You're like learning some of the functions of the DAW. Like we just did all of that, okay? So the next part would be a vocal, right? That'd be like logically the next thing you would do if this was your first time opening a DAW. So just for the sake of this, I'm going to copy and paste this a few times just so I have space. This will be our vocal. And your boy finally got it where I have a mic splitter. So my microphone has one input, one output, right? The input is here. Output is wherever I plug it into. I bought a microphone splitter. So it's a 1 in 6. I can't count. So this microphone has now been plugged into the splitter, and then it is split into both interfaces that I have on this desk. So the interface that you currently hear me out of is the Wave XLR for streaming, and then it's also plugged in to the main vocal channel of my Apollo Twin interface that I used to record with. So now we can actually record live with the Apollo Twin without latency or any bullshit. It's really fucking nice. I've been dying to figure out how to do this for a very, very long time. So we can finally do that. So let's write vocals. Oh, and one quick thing that you can do. So say you write this for the first time. You're like, oh, this is so badass. Like, I wrote this. Wow. This is hot. This is hot as fuck, right? Oh my God. Okay. But you're like, man, I don't want to just repeat that for 2 minutes. That doesn't make sense. So when it comes to songwriting, I call it layer stacking, okay? So these are all different layers that you can add or remove, okay? So if I were to like start this off, I would essentially remove all of this and just start with, okay? And then you could maybe add like this one in there, okay? So now you've like built like an intro, and then you could take out this, and I wanna go so far to wherever you are, right? And now you've built out an intro, a verse, okay? And then you can sort of trigger stuff from there. That's basic song structure 101, and we can do that on another stream. But like that's, you would essentially add and remove hi Sly, what's up, baby? You would add and remove layers to create the song structure in which you want. Now there's like a base song structure that everyone follows, like in pop and rock and all that shit. But again, very subjective, literally depends on the project or the song in which you are writing. But for the sake of this, I'm just gonna do a really, really basic one, okay? So we'll use this one. And then we'll do like a short verse. I'm gonna cut this out again, and then all this stuff comes back in. Give it like this. Wherever you are, so far I can't find my way to you. The stars are aligned, right? So now you have like a verse, and then I don't wanna find myself alone. And then this would be your bridge, and then this would be your chorus because you have your lead. Okay, does that make sense? Does that make sense, everyone? Chat? Does that make sense? Everyone look at my face. Everyone stare into my eyes. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys? Basics. This is just basics. That's just holy. Brandon, I don't know if you're here, but if I could get separate transitions for my scenes, I would cry. Anyways, that has been hugely informative, to be honest. Oh, really? Okay, I'm glad that is informative because I think sometimes people overcomplicate the songwriting process because it's really not that hard. Okay, Brandon, I just know I love you. You're so cute with your fucking mullet. That's crazy. Yeah, but like song structure is, I think they have that in their notes, but always a good idea to suggest. Yeah, I just like OBS, one of my favorite things was to cut to like the zoom and then the bigger zoom. I mean, I like that it slides, but you know what I mean? Making me blush and shit. Shit, it's crazy. Oh my God. Anyways, my fever dream is back. Oh Lord, help me. But yeah, so the idea is like song structure should not be rocket science. Right? And then here, think about it this way. So like this would be your intro right here. This is your verse. This is your bridge. This is your chorus. And then technically you can repeat that. And that is now 2 minutes and like 5 seconds. That's a song. You have a full song, right? If we're going like really bare bones, like really beginner basic ass shit, this is a song. This is about the structure of a song. If you have them as different scenes, you can try naming the camera different so it applies the transition. Oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, I still have to play around with it for sure. I will have to figure that out, but yes. Anyways, so yeah, this would be like a song. So archive, I don't know if this helps or anyone who's never done songwriting, but this is like, that's like the basics of how to write a song. For this, I'm not going to do a fucking 2 minute. This is just going to do this. So if we do vocals, vocals are like my bread and butter. This is what I like to do, okay? And you can all dog me on my presets, but I have one of the sickest vocal chains without having outboard gear, which is like analog gear that we don't need to go into right now. But yeah, we'll just scratch some vocals and see how it comes out. Don't be turned down where you are right now either, because in the end, it's about doing all of this 1,000 times over and over, and you'll get further each and every time. Yes. This is where like the 10,000 hours rule comes into play, right? Like you have to write 10,000 shitty songs until you get like one really good one, right? Like, and again, I'm being very basic and like a little flippant about like this particular song, because like I'll show you some stuff I've been working on, but like this is like bare bones how you would do this, and you just keep doing this until it clicks, and then one day you're like, oh. That's hot, dude. Sick. You know what I mean? So yeah, don't ever get discouraged up to this point. Like once you get here, just do it again. It's all, just put in the reps. Been making a ton of secret songs I don't post, like way too many. I love these refreshers to new ways to learn. I love that archive. I really do. I really do. Because that's like the whole point of this. Like I just want people to feel like it's not impossible to be a musician or to like be a songwriter or anything like that. Because like I learned all this shit from scratch. I didn't go to school. I wasn't trained or like mentored under any fucking huge producer. Like I just learned this shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyone can. I agree, Blue. Anyone can make music unless you're like clinically by doctor note, like tone deaf. I think anyone can sing. Anyone can make music. I don't care who you are. And this is like the point of me doing this now is like, one, I need to keep writing more music because I take too much time off. And two, I'm using it so that people can get educated and have like actual good time and like learn something. You know what I mean? And like no bullshit. Like no like shimmery fucking like welcome to YouTube trash. Like I just want this to be like very raw and informative and fun. And we can like write shit together and like learn together. You know what I mean? So anyways, let's do some vocals. These are going to sound like dog shit. You deaf strap a sub pack to yourself and figure out low end. Just rattle your body in an old fucking Camaro or something. Just yeah. Anyways, let's see what I can do right now. Here we go. I have not. Hold on. Let me put headphones on. This is going to be smarter, so I don't fucking bleed into the microphone. Check. Yeah. Na, 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 na. Ooh, whoa. I'm a little pitchy. It's okay. Check. Wherever you are is so far. I miss you so much. With it all, the stars are aligned, and you'll find myself at the end of all time. I don't wanna feel it alone without you tonight. Okay, we'll just do that section. That's easy. Let me see if this even sounds good. Wherever you are is so far. Okay, it's a little off. So not only am I pitchy, but my timing is dog shit. Fuck is Metatune? It's just like a light auto tune. That's all. Wherever. It's from Waves. I don't mind it. Checking mixes in cars is a good way. That was hot. None of this is hot. I sound like hot garbage right now. I've also, because it's like post-convention. And so like I've been phlegmy since we got back. It's trash. Let me see if I can get a proper take in. Hold on. Check. Wherever you are is so far away from me. I couldn't decide
stars align for thee and me. Yeah.
Okay, there. We'll just use that as an example.
Wherever you are.
Okay, there's a slight delay, so it has to come in here.
Wherever you are is so far away from me.
God, it really just, I have to like crank this thing. Holy shit. Is that gonna fuck it up? No, guess not. Check. Okay. One more time. One more time, then I'll explain the mixing, okay? God tier, yeah.
Wherever you are, it's so far away from me. I couldn't decide if the stars align for you and me.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I still have to move this. Yep. Wait. Right. Here.
Wherever you are,
there we go.
It's so far away from me. I couldn't decide if the stars align for you and me.
Okay, yeah, great. Okay, we can work with that. That's perfect. That'll work, okay? So let's explain what I'm doing in this vocal chain and why. Here's the dry vocal, just so you guys can hear it just outright. Lord help my sanity.
Wherever you are, it's so far away from me.
It's very quiet. I might actually need to turn.
Wherever you are,
You hear it?
it's so far away from me.
So just dry, super dry, okay? I'm going to put that back to 0. So we'll turn this on. I'm going to turn everything off, and we'll go over it one at a time like I always do, okay? First thing is called a gate. What this does, it cuts out any unnecessary noise under a certain threshold, okay? So if it's like anything less than, for example, negative 41.1 decibels, it'll shut off the sound. So if you watch it, this is a terrible window, but
Wherever you are,
so
it's so far
see that?
away from me.
So when it does this, it's pushing, it's like cutting out all sound available to you. And then it allows anything above negative 48.1 to get pushed through.
Wherever you are,
as you can see with the little like white
so
line
far
thing.
Away from me.
Okay, so there's that. And that's all it does, is it just cuts out like background noise and shit to an extent. You can't, sometimes you need a quiet room and shit like that, but that for like this sake, that's usually all you need. Then we get into the first EQ, and I talked about this earlier where I said I usually have 2 EQs and 2 compressors, okay? So the first EQ, this is surgical. I did it backwards, but that's okay. Mine is surgical, so this is surgically the shit that I pull out of my voice, right? So this is the one that I use for me. I will say this has also been pretty badass because I use this one as well for all my other friends, and this particular frequency works pretty well for everyone, plus or minus some movement on some of these like Q filters, or what they call like the Q. I don't know how to explain that. Like whatever I'm cutting out decibel wise, like in the frequencies. So I have this particular EQ surgically cutting out certain frequencies that are dog shit in singing. Okay. And that's just is what it is. This next one is something we haven't seen, which is a de-esser. Okay. A de-esser is sort of the same thing as a compressor technically, but sort of not really. It essentially helps sort of cut out the S and ps and any of that shit. So I'm no longer working. Now I'm glued to watching and learning. Good. I love that. And a de-esser sort of helps like sort of literally like de-ess the S's. Because when you speak, there's always like a sound at the bottom. This technically can help remove some of it based on your frequency and stuff. I just do it very lightly. It's, again, very minor and not a lot of people are going to notice, but like this helps clean up the vocal to some extent, okay? And just, sorry, as it stands, here's what the vocal sounds like now. And I'm going to turn it up because you can't hear it.
Wherever you are, it's so far away from me.
So it's like a little more cleaned up. You'll hear it here in a sec. So this is the compressor. This is the, like the sim of like a rack mount LA2A is is the rack mount for a compressor. So this is at 45-ish, and then the peak is at around 50, and then this is the read, and it's at a 60 hertz sort of sound, and it's flat frequency. Like it's not, I'm not like shaping or adding, it's just like flat. So now it sounds like this with the first round of compression.
Wherever you are,
So it's gotten a little louder.
away from me.
I'm turning it up so you guys can hear it.
I couldn't decide
Okay.
if the star.
Great. So now it has like shape, it has body, it feels kind of cool. Now we get into the second EQ. This is more of shaping. Like I am just taking out extra shit that I may not need in the vocal, right? And so like, for example, there's a little low end here because of that. I'm just shaping it out. This one's mostly for like some gross mid highs that always happen. And you just kind of pick and choose your battles on it, right? Then I add the second one to get the extra oomph out of the vocal.
Wherever you are,
Okay. And I can crank this probably just a little bit.
wherever you are, it's so far away from me.
I can even go a little bit higher.
Wherever you are, it's so far away from me. I couldn't decide
Okay.
if the stars align for you and me.
Okay, that's fine. And then the metatune. So yeah, like now we've got like a vocal. And I could also, because like the way it records is kind of quiet, I could also just bring up the natural gain of the track.
Wherever you are,
And that's not really going to like
so
totally
far
mess with anything.
away.
Just like 2 extra decibels up.
where I couldn't decide if the stars.
Yeah, it sounds nice and clean. And then this metatune is an auto tune made by Slate Digital, not Waves. That's my bad. Very intuitive. I only use this for like a light auto tune. I don't like using it heavily on anything. It doesn't necessarily make sense. Just got the most toxic teammate in Apex, is also live on Kick. Oh, shocker. I love that. I hate that for them. He said a lot of naughty words. Yeah, that's bad. We don't like that. You should give me the name of the human and I'll report them because that's crazy. So yeah, very light speed. So like if you don't know what an auto-tune does, chat, and this, again, more deeper things if we go into like vocal production stuff, auto-tune essentially takes like your voice, and I'll just use me as the example, and forces it to be in tune. So T-Pain is the one that made this popular. So if you put it at 0 milliseconds, it's controlling every piece of the note as quickly as possible. And then if you put the control up at 100%, it sounds like T-Pain.
Couldn't decide if the stars align for you and me.
And if you hear that last tail,
Oh, oh, oh,
it's trying to gather the note. If you look right here,
oh, oh, oh,
it's bouncing between those notes. If I were to like turn these off,
oh, oh,
it forces 1.
oh, 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 oh.
Does that make sense, chat? So this just helps like guide the voice a little. Again, I don't ever use it at 100%. I really don't need to. I usually turn it down to like 9 or 8, and then I rock it at like 30, 40. Because like I naturally sing in key, give or take, depending on the day. So like I can get away with not using it as much.
Wherever you are, it's so far away from me.
So you still get like natural fuck ups, but it feels tighter. If I really wanted to be an asshole, I would tune these, which we can go over if you guys want. Where did you go? Where did it go? Did I just cut it out? Oops. There it is.
Wherever you are, it's so far away.
Yeah, so like if I really want to be an asshole, I could just tune these vocals, which is like a totally separate thing that we could learn together. I could do it now if you want me to. You know what, for the sake of sakes, I'm going to do it anyways. I just convinced myself.
And for you.
Yeah, because like that was just like a really wild vibrato. That's why it tunes weird.
And me.
Okay, so those are all. You have waves though? I have waves. I just don't remember which one I have. Let me see. Waves. What is it called? It's called... What was the auto-tune software? This is called Metatune by Slate Digital. There we go. Ultra Pitch. I have that one from Waves. I've never used it, so I have no idea. But it's there. Okay, here, for the sake of sakes, I'm going to tune these vocals. So I'm going to copy this so I have it. So there's a program called Melodyne, literally the greatest invention on earth for vocals. It's the best kept secret. I'm not even fucking with you, chat. This is what everyone uses. That's just being honest. Transfer the vocal. We're in C sharp minor. And then all I'm doing is printing the vocals to Melodyne.
Wherever you are, it's so far.
So what it's doing is it's printing the vocals live as it's being played into Melodyne. And then from here, I would tune the vocals to the exact key in which we are in. Melodyne is the most natural way to tune stuff. And it's literally the greatest secret of all time. I'm not even going to touch on how this works, but I'll just explain this. This is like my natural vocal, right? And as you can see, certain things are like on the line versus like in the middle of stuff. So like it's a little flat, little sharp, right? Sharp is up, flat is down. So it's not perfect, but it's like in the pocket. This is going to move everything to the center, right? I can do like 46%. I can do 100%, whatever. I'll do 100 for the sake of what we're doing. And then pitch drift is like all these little squigglies. You can sort of tighten up some of them. You can't fix it. If you have the higher one, you could. But you can just like make it as tight as possible, okay? And then from there, you can just listen to it. I'm going to crank this because I can't really hear it.
Wherever you are, it's so far away from me.
Okay, so right there, hold on.
Wherever you are, it's so far away from me.
Right here.
Me, from me.
You want that, right? I heard that it was off by a note.
From me.
Me.
Away from me.
Okay.
I couldn't decide if the stars align for you and me.
Okay. So now it says perfect as I can get it based on my voice, right? Just like that. And then I'm going to print these to the track. So now they're tuned, and then I'll add this back. So now we have a perfect vocal with a slight auto-tune. I'm even going to turn this down because I don't really need it.
Wherever you are, it's so far away from me.
Do you hear what I'm talking about?
I couldn't decide if the stars align for you and me.
You feel me on that, chat? Like, it's literally real-time tunes, in my honest opinion, God tier. Oh, I just read that. I'll have to look into it. But yeah, that's how that works, right? This is how all of your favorite fucking singers get to sound so perfect. Not that they don't naturally sing well, but for production's sake, that's how you do vocals.
Wherever you are, it's so far away from me. I couldn't decide.
Oh, I gotta turn this down.
Wherever you are, it's so far away from me.
Sick, right?
I couldn't decide.
And that's like, this is basic song production right here. You just learned so much today, chat.
And me.
Right? So we learned, let's go over this. We learned MIDI. We learned scales and like basic key and like what that means. We learned about song structure, okay, basic song structure, and we learned about basic audio production. Oh, and mixing, basic mixing. And this is what we came up with in an hour and 40 minutes. Any questions while we play this?
Wherever Wherever you are, it's so far away from me. I couldn't decide if the stars align for you and me.
Pretty cool, right, chat? It's not bad. It's kind of sick. And like with enough reps and stuff, like you can write some cool shit. Yeah. I dig it, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, again, bare bones, it doesn't have to be rocket science, right? I think a lot of people try and make it rocket science. It just doesn't need to be. You know what I mean? I'm going to save this just so we have it. 2024. Let's call this folder Music Production 101. Is the VOD available around after the stream goes? Because this was sick. Yeah, I'll pull the VOD and put it on YouTube. Guys, if you wanna subscribe to YouTube, just go to Jonny Lemons on YouTube. Subscribe. I'm gonna start putting these like raw fucking VODs up every week when I do these. And then we'll go from there. So this is week 1 basics.